Today is day 94 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Today's learning is sponsored anonymously for the schus of Ephraim Ben Sora. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, it would be very greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Today we're doing from Siman Nun Ches, Sif Yud Gimel, to Siman Nun Ches, Sif Yud Ches. And Arukh HaShulchan ended the question yesterday. Why is Zman Kriya Shmas? It has to do with Kumecha, and people don't get up necessarily based on shows manios and the fluctuating sunrise, but rather based on a standard the entire year through. So the Zman Kriya Shmas should not fluctuate either. So it's one standard all the way through. Well, he's saying 9 o'clock in the morning, right? And I think there is a thing I mentioned yesterday that I believe the Kumana Rebbe actually held that way. But in any event, so Amnam Arukh says in Gimel, Amnam Be'emes Ein Ezesh Elo Cloud. It's not quite sure. The Torah is not going to change; it never changes. But one of the laws of the Torah is Klomar Liros Lefi Minhag HaMokom, to see what the minhag in that place is. V'advarim T'tluim B'yom Balei. Things which have to do with day and night. Tzivsolim Torah Shekol Chad B'Mokom Shehu. The Torah commands us any lady in his place. Shed so Yom Yinok Din Al Yom. When it's day by him, he should conduct himself as his day. So Lila, when it's nighttime, Yinhog Din Lila should conduct himself with the laws of the night. Even though somewhere else it's still daytime. It says the pasuk in Vayikra Chav Gimel, it's Shabbos Kodesh Baruch Hu in all of your settlements. Take the Shabbos for 25 hours wherever you are dwelling, based on the time frame there. In your place, it became Friday night. I'm sorry, it became Friday. This time it's going to be Shabbos. Even though someplace else in a different time zone, it's still Friday. 11 on the other hand, Shabbos on the opposite side. But Shabbos Be'erek Shu Laila Tzlem Chol. On Saturday night, when it's nighttime by you, it's a weekday. Ashim Makom Ached Ainu Shabbos, even though elsewhere it's still Shabbos. V'chein Gabe Kriya Shema Sha'atorah B'Shok B'Chov Kumecha. So by Kriya Shema, by where it says B'Shok B'Chov Kumecha, when you go to sleep, when you lie down and when you get up. It doesn't go by each person individually. Goes by the majority of the people in terms of them lying down, in terms of them rising. B'shiru Chazal. Chazal reckon Shebizman HaNetz is the time of sunrise. Rov Olam Kamim Mitosa. Most people get up from the beds. Yesh Kamim Mira Shachar. So they get up from earlier, from dawn. The name Melachim Yisheim Ad Shal Shoshu Revi'as Hayom. The name Melachim will sleep until the third of the day. We don't care that in many cities, such as our contemporary cities, that when Hanei Tzachama comes along, many people are still sleeping. So Zivatar said Shabbat Hanei Tzachama Tikra Kriyashma V'Aravi Hayom Havazman Kriyashma. But he gave an abstract concept based on a ideal situation, which is an equinox day in Eretz Yisrael, and the assumption that the Chazal obviously determined that most people get up at sunrise. Few people get up on Rosh Hashanah, most people get up at sunrise. Of course, before alarm clocks, and our artificial management of time was much more prevalent. You would rise with the sun and go to sleep with the sun. So, when sunrise comes, you should read Shema. So a quarter of the day, it's Zman Kriya Shema. For us, and then, after Chazal came to this abstract principle, every place according to where it stands on the globe. When the sun rises there, that's the Kriya Shema there. When a quarter of the day passes there, Zman Kriya Shema, the time of Shema passes. K'mo b'Shabbos, just like the time of Shabbos passes, Mitzvah Shabbos. It doesn't matter if in this place they are awake or asleep. It's not going doesn't go according to Minhag Bnei Oda. El Gezerah, rather it's a Gezerah Kach v'Kach Ta'aseh B'Yom V'Layla. That's what you should do in day and night and night. Mel Kolcha Masai Shuetzel Yom. So therefore, every person when by him it's day. Have a mitzvah Hayom Olav. The mitzvah of the day is upon it. A Laila and night mitzvah Laila Olav. The mitzvah of the night is upon him. So I'm not sure the question, the answer is so satisfying, but basically we're saying Halacha is given the abstract, the application is of the abstract principle has to follow the dictates of the abstract principle. And therefore, if Chazal said the abstract principle is sunrise for 3 hours, you extrapolate from that into each and every scenario what sunrise in 3 hours are, and it doesn't go by how the kings get up in that place. That is the sons of kings. Yudalit. Some say this is the famous Shita of Rabbeinu Tam, which is such in the Magen Avraham, that the Shah's the quarter of the day is determined from dawn. Pisa Medina Seinu. Because Zman Kriya Shema is going to pass in the summer without daylight savings time at like it'll go after Chatzi Shah Shvis, the half of the 7th hour. I think he means 12:30 p.m. The days in upper latitudes where people like Arukh HaShulchan lived in the Vardik, and in the summer are huge. They're long. They're like maybe 3 hours of nighttime. So, 1 second. We have a Leo is that sounds mani mahakalacha, the times a day, and let us look up just for example, Vilna. Vilna's here. No, Vienna is here. Let's try Berlin. Otherwise, we will try London. Berlin. Okay, so from July 31st till approximately July 31st till approximately August 2nd. No, sorry, not July 31st. May 31st till August till July 18th. There is no Amud HaShachar. See those blank spaces there? Those blank spaces? That's where there's supposed to be an Amud HaShachar. But there is no Amud HaShachar. Okay? Because the sun does not rise fully rise nor fully set. And therefore there's no also Rabbeinu Tam night time. And no Magen Avraham Shas Manis. Because there's no full night to the extent demanded by Magen Avraham Rabbeinu Tam. So even at the times when there is the time in the so at the times when there is already a Shaz Manis, according to the Magen Avraham, the maximum Shaz Manis is 106 minutes, and it happens on August 8th, and it also happens on May 4th, from May 4th to August 8th. There is no Shaz Manis in Magen Avraham. So, but when there is, so sunrise, the early dawn of Magen Avraham is 1:10. The later dawn is 2:26. Chanei Tzacham is 4:52. Shema according to Magen Avraham is over at 6:48 a.m. 6:48 a.m. So it goes from the dawn, the earlier dawn, 1:10, for 106 minutes times 3 till 6:48 a.m. So he says here Chatzi Shvius, he means half of the 7th hour, half of 7 a.m., 6:30 a.m. Okay? So that would be the time of going to Magavram. So that's what he says. It passes very, very early. Not like I said before, 12:30 p.m. It passes at 6:30 a.m. Okay? Shesem kai t'melot shar neitz have zman aroch. Akvarichu Gdolei Ador l'tchos dover zeh. But the Gdolei Ador, the Gra, the Baal Tanya, as we know, see cites here, reject the Magen Avraham shows Manios. And again, we see it's not possible to do it in the places where the Jews lived in Eastern Europe, or Western Europe for that matter. The if you write Bruce the Cheshbim Me'anates, and they brought a clear evidence that we reckon from sunrise. Okay, because I have a levush simon common simon reish lam gimel. Okay, no tovsim ikra ledina. That's Arukh HaShulchan says we take the Gra and the Baal Tanyas, Shos Manios, which are to divide up the day in 12 equal units from sunrise to sunset, as being the determining numbers. Mishnah brings down Mishnah Brura brings down both opinions and does not determine which to follow. But the Arukh HaShulchan is quite clear. And he says, well, today we have luchos which have every single obscure time you could think of. But back then they published the luchos with the time of the Gra. And he says, we should be able to keep even the cheshbon of the Gra. So without daylight savings, let's go back to Berlin. There's a Gra Sov Zman Kriya Shema the entire year, but in the summer it is it gets as early as not so early. It gets as early as 7:56 a.m. Sov Zman Kriya Shema. Not the end of Zman Kriya Shema, 7:56 a.m. So the Arukh HaShulchan says, "Oh boy, it's how I was able to do that. If I say Ryan Shnasa Keheta, but I've Zman Kriya Shema before Pakaites, there are great iniquities. It's become like mutter to miss Zman Kriya Shema, especially in the summer. At least when he sees the time is going to pass, he could Kriya Shema Apolo brachos reach Shema without the brachos. I've changed the Ketikun Chachamim, the Gamre. It's not the way Chachamim design things. Shetiknu Adavke brachos. They set to say the brachos. Nevertheless, come. Military Yatsi de Chavaso. Your obligation just by saying Shema. Even if he doesn't have tefillin in that hand, you go below tefillin. You can't read without tefillin. Lama Chazal Kol HaKor Kriya Shema below tefillin. Who made Eidos Sheker Batzmo? He didn't say that somebody who reads Shema where it says is that he's testifying falsely. Unless only when he has tefillin available, accessible. But not that you should violate Zman Kriya Shema on that account. So Gedolim wrote this because it should come Yikra Bebir Chosel. Later on, you should read it again with the brachos in the proper location. Kriya Shema mitzvah say mina Torah. That's what say the Raisa Likros B'Hamayim B'Chol Yom to twice a day. Echad B'Boker once in the morning, Echad B'Erev once in the evening. Ramanah B'Minyan Mitzvos. Ram counts as one of the mitzvos. There was I say Yud. The Zodas Roa will say most of our rabbis hold that way. V'atam Sovrin the Kriya Shema the Rabbanan. Even those old Kriya Shema the Rabbanan Modim Gange Sheyesh Chiyuv u'Mitzvos say mina Torah Likros Shopcha Uvkumecha. There's a chiyuv to learn Torah, to read Torah. El Desfile, but according to them, they hold to be a Torah. We don't think I'm a Shara Parshas Torah. Right, so it can be anything. Right, Mirabanan, Tikul Likros, Shosh Parshas Elu. Simply 3 Parshas of Shema. We'll never be as they may honor Kamilon. We hold with the Kriya Shema Mamish Doraisa. Kriya Shema is an actual Doraisa. Usually, some people say the Rak Pasuk Rishon Min Torah only the first lesson of Doraisa. which is the Kesef Mishnah and the Magen Avraham. Yeshem, some say the Parsha Yisrael Min HaTorah, the whole first Parsha Min HaTorah, Shana Yeshem, the Gam Vol Yom Shom Min HaTorah, those say, Yeshem was also right, a Pri Chodesh. Rashi Reish Bracha is Dabei Zaman Aleph, really Reish Brachas. Masha sounds like Rak Parsha Rishon Min HaTorah, when you repeat for Kriyash Malamita. Ava in places the Rosham, Masha Shekula, the Kula Min HaTorah. Sounds like the Torah requires you to read all the first two Shema, first paragraph, Shema B'Yeshua, Vayomer is for surely Rabbanan, unless the Tzias Mitzrayim, but not for now. The bracket says, "Become coming in Suffolk Kari Kul Choladeos." If you have a suffix, if you read the suffix the rest of the Chumrah, so you have to read all three parashas according to all opinions. This bar b'sim b'samach zayin b'siyata d'shmaya. Test zayin. Divi Rambam Rachel is Krishma Nirli Sfilat Kolon having a Torah. Since Rambam holds the all meaning of the rice. So you mikon kosa mitzvah say the quotes Krishma pa mind beyond. First he writes it's a mitzvah say to read Shema twice a day. And then afterwards it says Malkori. What does he read? And it says Shlosha Parashas says these three parashas. Makdim in the cross Parashas Shema Yesh Bo Yichud Hashem. And we say the Parashas Shema first because it says unity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Va'avoso and his love, the Talmudo and learning his Talmud, Shu Ikr Gadol, which is a primary principle, Shal Kol Toli on which everything else is contingent. Va'achrei V'yam Shema and we say V'yam Shema. Neishish Bo Tzibo Shar Kol Mitzvahs. So that's commands on other mitzvahs. Va'achar Parashas Tzitzis. Sounds like we're going around, he's including tzitzis in the Doraisos. Because it also has commemoration of all the mitzvahs. The Sholosh Parshios Elu Al HaSeder Hazeh. All three Parshios, Zu HaNikres, Krishma, that's what Krishma Akhan Lashon. The Vachi Shitchis Lashono, Mashma, the Shkul Min HaTorah, says that besides that, at least superficially, his language indicates that only the Raisa. Odzos, furthermore, the Imon Neomar, the Rak Parsha Yishon Av Min HaTorah, we say only the first parsha is Min HaTorah, or Rak Bas Rishon, or only the first pasuk. Lama Lo Lomar Tama Agdamas Rishon Min HaSheni. Why does it have to give a reason for the first one to be said first and the second one to be said second? Let me say Pasha. Shema is the right, so Shema is the Rabbanan. So of course it says Shema first. The Gam Hashish exam is the tzitzis. So also that the second one, Leim Shah comes before tzitzis. Let him say Pasha, because Leim Shemesh is the Rabbanan. Shlish is only the Rabbanan. That's why it's pushed up to the end. Furthermore, the Yodua Darko B'Chol Chibur Gadol Shemavara Ma'amid the Rice of the Rabbanan. The Rambam always meticulous in telling us what's the rice of the Rabbanan. He doesn't differentiate. The Avshir they include me. I told you not all of them are the rice. Havli the Varish Zui the rice of Zui the Rabbanan. We should clarify that these two are the rice and that one's the Rabbanan. Elvad is still a tchum in a Torah. So Rambam certainly holds that all means the rice. V'ad Rabbeinu Kosh lo kro rak shmaiso. I went already to Nasi who was yotze every day just by reading in the middle of Shir. He would go like this quickly and say Shmaiso Shabbat Kenu Shabbat Chod. Mishum da pi din hayapat l'gamri. That's because according to strict law it was exempt altogether. So I feel like it's tzarech tzibur potter. He says involved in tzarech it's in the needs of the community is exempt from Shema. K'moshe kosav b'siman ayin. Like we're going to find out later on. Koshka Rabbeinu Kodesh certainly Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Shemalami Torah let Talmidim who's teaching Torah to his Talmidim is parted from other mitzvahs. So the Im calls in nevertheless Haya Korei Pasuk Rishon will read the first pasuk. Which the aim was they have Sekalim in Torah because it doesn't take their mind to mumble it quickly. Leave it to say it slowly. V'zeshu Amida, who rak pasuk rishon, and that is and that which you have to stand still to say the first pasuk in Shema. I'm not supposed to say walking. Rak pasuk rishon. It's also only the first pasuk. Shem the botzor kavan yaser kavan because there requires further more intense kavan. Yudzayim v'zesh koser Rabbeinu v'yisis doing some gimel sivov. It says right, it's like Kori Kriya Shema Lo Yirmaz Beinav, he should wink with his eyes or make other gestures. The parsha Rishon Shikar Kabbalas Machashmayim. It's the first parsha, which is the primary Kabbalas Machashmayim. Klomar, meaning Uvo Migunezeh. In this at this section of Shema, it is repulsive to make this wink or hint of whatever he's doing. Below and not Bishar V'lo Bishar not the rest. Ayin Sham. B'zarim V'sham du Umlin. I'm sorry, skip. V'lo the mess around Lokasa Parshu Shana Ayin Sham. So the truth is the Rambam doesn't differentiate. Sounds like him from all three parshas you can't do this. It says that the in Gemara and Bracha says if the grass is at the top of a tree, they read their Shema and they don't come back. Besides that, the parshas to Rabbanon, and if you're going to say there's some parshas to Rabbanon, why are they making them read all three parshas up in the trees? Why don't they leave by the grass and they just have to read them? It's like they let the workers lop off the last bracha, but they'll make it benching. Because a Muslim, all the parshas Shema midaraisa. No, and the other he says, you know what? Not necessarily. The cave in the Rosh Hashanah Malacha Parak Sheni, since you can do Malacha in the second parak, so it's not considered to be Bitul Malacha, and therefore, even though it's Rabbanan, it's not Rabbanan. Another reason that to say it is the Raisa. So we see Chachamim said you have to be meticulous in your precise pronunciation tables of all the words. Shebechol parshas in all the parshas. K'mo shkos v'sim v'samchav. K'mo kol kriyas HaTorah. I'm sorry, skip. Okay, I'm not seeing this right. We have the Rabbanon. It's only the Rabbanon. So lo have a chashul, Dr. Glock wouldn't be so meticulous. Just like any Kriyas, which is Rabbanon, we're not meticulous. They're not as concerned with Kriyas Shema. It's more astonishing to me. Can you say that not all three are midaraisa? You can't. That's against the Rishberg base. That now Lama Kadma Shema, which says why Shema come before Avaya and why does it come before Vayomer? Virak Shema deraisa Parsha Rishona. If only Shema are the first Parsha deraisa, Shika shows some in Torah Tzarech Hadima. So obviously the ones midaraisa come first. The Chayman Silish they Parshas deraisa according to the opinion, which goes to Parsha deraisa below Parsha Tzitzis. And not the Parsha Tzitzis. Lemon Tzchtam Sham Abdamas Vayan Shah Vayomer. Why should you need a reason to Yeshua come first? Ein Sham. Elvadei Shekulan Min HaTorah. It must all be the Raisa. Says he brings all these shitas and doesn't determine which one is correct. Yudches. Shanu Chachamim Mishnah. Chachamim say Chachamim Kamelech Lo Yifsid Kor B'Torah Kor B'Torah. If you read after Zman Kriya Shema has come to its end, you're gonna lose that because you're learning. What's wrong with learning? It's like a person learning any other parsha in Torah. Babish lo yotzidei Kriya Shema, even though it does not yotzidei Kriya Shema. Yesh lo kibus chayk. I said Torah. He seems to be born in Shemayim, so he learned Torah. We farish b'Gemara. The Gemara explains my lo hivsid. What he didn't lose? Lo hivsid a brachos. He can still make birchas the birchas Kriya Shema. Klomar shiyochel gam achazman even as man elapsed. You can still say Baruch Yotzor V'Avarav V'nei Kriya Shema and God you still achar Kriya Shema. You cross to a Rash though. The Rash writes and the Rosh writes. The Shem Ravai going. You say Rakat Shorvis. You say the brachas of Shema after Zman Kriya Shema is over is only until the end of the fourth hour, which is the end of Zman Tefillah. Shu Zman Tefillah. After Zman Tefillah, Asur Lomar brachas. After Zman Tefillah is over, you can't say the brachas. Being berach you did, arei v'kavod bracha latola. It's a bracha for naught. For lo tisad, it's a transgression. Lo tisad Hashem lo Hashem l'kachol l'shav. Not to mention God's name in vain. Chei paska tu v'shulchan OC. Ava Rama so berach al kosav zechol yom yechol v'rech. And Shem he says you make a bracha the entire day. I mean the berachas Kriya Shema. Avena move on. Says Arukh HaShulchan, I understand. The came with lo yifsid kaya brachas. since Lohivsky is going on, so he learns the entire. I'm sorry. Around. Let me start over again. It's not clear. The name of Lohivsky Kai brachas. You didn't lose the brachas. So what does it mean that you are like a person learning Torah? You have more than that. You have the man saying Birchas Shachar. According to the Gon works because it's talking about after the Zman Tefillah lapses. Avram Akasha. According to Rambam, it's difficult with Tzorich Iyun. And it's unclear how to understand the Rambam. So again, the Rambam writes that you can make the roast the entire day. And Arukh HaShulchan says, I understand. Because it says, Mikamel Lohivsky Kodam Akara B'Torah, what does it have to do with Birchas HaTorah? Right? Which, so according to the Gaon, it's okay because it's going to read after a third of the day when it's only learning Torah, but according to Rambam, it sounds like the entire day there's the Takana to be able to say Birchas Kriyashma. The Bialocha brings down the opinion of the Pri Chadash, like the Rambam, most poskim, Baskin Shirach, and Chuz Mishkas Yaakov, that says the Evid until Chatzos you can make a bracha, not just until 4 hours. That's possible. You can rely on the Mishkas Yaakov when otherwise you won't be able to say Shema. Otherwise you won't be able to say Birchas Kriyashma. I don't know. It's called shenanas, where you had a compelling reason not to say Shema, then we'll let you say Shema with the brachas of Kriya Shema, not just until the end of the 4th hour, but till the end of the 6th hour. According to Zman Adam, you go back to Arukh HaShulchan, according to Zman Adam, you come to Torah. Somebody reads that it's right proper time, it's better than reading Torah. In brackets, it says, Gemara Sham, V'da, should taste this read, Tamei Rabbeinu Yonah, I'm not sure which one it is. They asked, what does it mean that he didn't lose? The Titzulin Shechol goes Ba'peh. It's interesting, they say he didn't lose means he didn't lose the right to say Ba'peh, even though now should be V'avagav the Ha'ag HaGemara Maksher Mutaretz L'Inyan Ha... I'm sorry, I skipped it again. Boy, it's a great day for skipping. Tzarech Ian Gadol. The HaGemara Maksher Mutaretz in Brachas. It's talking about not the Kriya Shema itself, but about the Birkos Kriya Shema.